Mr. Minnick here, helping my students with Writing Code Worksheet 2. But let me point out, Writing Code Worksheet 2 is very similar to Writing Code Worksheet number 1. It's just that I reworded these commands in different ways. So pretty much all the answers to Worksheet 2 are in some form or another found on Worksheet 1. Let's go forth anyway and I'll help you with this. Number 1 on both worksheets is the same answer. Even though it's worded differently, you're still putting hello world into a message box when it pops up on the screen in a Visual Basic program. You still need hello world in a set of double quotes, that's called a string, and you still need message box, which is an object, and you still need show, which is a method. Number 2 on worksheet 2. Hey, that's similar to number 5 on worksheet number 1. See number 5 on WK number 1. I don't have time in this video session to write it out. You write it out for homework, but be neat and print and all. But it is the same question. I know that here I do not mention the fact that there's a text property, but you're supposed to assume that the text property is part of the answer, even though it's not mentioned like it is on the previous worksheet in number 5. Okay, number 3 is the same as number 4. See number 4 on yesterday's worksheet. Number 4 here. Number 4 is the same as number 6. It's just a different way of saying it. Yesterday I said clear a label named LBL Step 1 so that nothing appears in its text property. Well, guess what? Clearing a label means taking away its text property. That's the only thing there is when you learn Visual Basic. So you were supposed to assume again that we were talking about its text property, and you're supposed to know about double quotes being next to each other, which is called the empty string, and we'll use it a lot in code. When you type in the wrong password and you have to type in your password a second time, you are using the clear string. It's also known as hitting the backspace key on your keyboard, but that's kind of what it is. Number 5 on tonight's worksheet. It is similar to number 5 on yesterday's worksheet with a twist. I will do this one for you. The object that's being mentioned here is TXT message, not a label, because LBL is a prefix that means labels and TXT means text boxes. But they're both rectangular things that contain text. That's how they work. So it's really no difference. You started this answer out with TXT message. Now you don't put Minnick here, you put plan the code because that's what string you're being told to use. But you do not just, don't do this. It's an innocent mistake. Don't just do plan the code and think you're done with this question. You are supposed to know and assume that the text property is again being referenced here. So you need .text right here, just like you did with labels on yesterday's worksheet. Text boxes also have properties called text, just like labels make use of a property called text. Number 6 on tonight's worksheet. It's if we're clearing something, that means the empty string is probably involved. Oh yes, I did mention it. So somewhere in your answer you better have empty quotes. Well, what object is being talked about? TXT message. And here in this question I make it very obvious that you're doing something with its text property. So .text, and I may as well finish this out, equals quote, quote, with no space in there. A bright student asked me if she should put a space in there. Well, it would still look good in the program, but it's technically not the empty string. A space is something, and it's not empty. Okay, number 7. That's just like number 1. See number 1 up above. Only instead of hello world, put write the code in there. And number 8, Set. Okay, we had a problem yesterday that was number 10. See number 10 on yesterday's worksheet. From worksheet number 1 for help with that one. Only I think it's the other way around. It might be LBL step 2 something equals LBL step 1 instead of the other way around. I think if you look at it carefully grammar-wise, it's the other way around. Okay, we only have one more question to do, and we have 2 minutes in this particular year 2014, 2015, period 7-8 section of Visual Basic. A great crop of students, lots of potential. We are at YMSing finally going to get laptops. When you're listening to this in 10 years, know that it all started in 2014, 2015. The class of 9th graders, what are you? The class of what? 2018. 2018, a great year in the future. Here's the answer for number 9. LBL step 2 equals LBL step 1. That would almost work, but you need to put those darn text properties in there. It's just the rule. If you forget to assume .text needs to be there, then you lose the point. It'll be a compile error in your code. So I will save this and upload it to YouTube. You can watch this tonight or just but do the